Join us at Glossy's Beauty and Wellness Summit from November 11th through 13th in Napa, California. Influential beauty and wellness leaders will meet to discuss strategies and pain points, discover innovative tech, and ultimately make valuable business connections through one-on-ones and casual networking. For a limited time, we're offering $200 off with promo code GBS24, no spaces. Again, that's GBS24 with no spaces. Go to glossy.co/beauty summit for more information and to secure your pass today. Thanks for tuning in to this New York Fashion Week edition of the Glossy Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Manoff, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Emily Smith, creative director of Lafayette 148, the 28-year-old New York City-based luxury brand. On Monday, Lafayette 148 will be hosting a New York Fashion Week presentation, which, if history rings true, will showcase elevated, art-infused looks made for the discerning fashion shopper. I wanted to ask Emily about the importance of Fashion Week participation and why a presentation has remained Lafayette 148's go-to format. I'm also interested in the evolution of the brand, which has recently embraced collaborations and launched a collection of wardrobe icons. Welcome, Emily.
Hi, Jill. How are you?
I'm so happy to have you here. In the middle of the hustle and bustle, but you're feeling good. Your collection's ready. How are we feeling?
We are feeling good. I mean, we have a crazy schedule. My team is, working on a couple collections at the same time. So once we finally launch, they're usually on to the next one. And we feel really good. We're excited. We just finished doing our internal sales meeting and we're super excited to put it out to the world.
Right on. Well, I have my own, descriptors according to that intro of how I think of Lafayette 148. For those who are less familiar, how I feel like, an elements of the brand can play into this quiet luxury. I feel like that probably worked to your advantage, but there is some beautiful art. I would say not prints or I don't know. You tell the story. I'm butchering it.
No, I think you're correct in your description. I love to say understated luxury. And really that's because the company was founded in 1996 by Deirdre Quinn and her partners in the root of Soho. So you imagine 90s in the Soho, which just sort of makes sense that we continued with this sort of effortless, minimalistic kind of aesthetic and approach. I mean, it's a women-founded company, so it's women dressing women. And we know the fuss of getting dressed in the morning and what you do and don't want to deal with, to be honest with you. So it's a little bit of really just designing with that in mind. And a lot of times that's about stripping away the excess of what you don't need. It's not to say those things aren't important to have them in there. It's fun to throw those things in the mix too, but It's kind of knowing when and where.
Oh my gosh. Well, tell me about your shopper and the cues that she's giving you so that you're giving her what she wants. And P.S., I love that you mentioned Deirdre. I feel like Lafayette 140, you guys just welcomed me into your brand family. I feel like I made friends with everybody and it's such a great group. Anyway, talk to me. Who's your shopper?
Well, that's amazing you say that because I think the importance to us is really this community of women that we let join into our group and they continue along the way. And our customers are incredibly loyal to us. I mean, we've had customers for the 28 years we've been around, and they're very vocal. They definitely tell us what they love, what they don't love. And, I really appreciate that because I think it's important that you are staying true to what she needs because it is about what she's functioning with and how she's living her life. We like to say she's an accomplishing woman, and we make that kind of current term with the ing on the end because she's still accomplishing, whether she's starting her career or she's in the middle or the height of it, or she's, retired and on the board. It's she's always contributing to society in some way. And I think bringing our customer along that journey is really so much fun for us.
I love that. Do you really just hone in there? We hear so many times from brands, they're we need to target younger and go after the kids. What's your thought process around that?
Well, we're not dressing kids. We know that. We're very clear on that. I'm 45, so to me, I'm like the target age range. But we dress anywhere from 40s to 70s, and we love that. And I think our aesthetic isn't about an age, but it's about a mindset and a feel and sort of how you approach life in general. I mean, it's women dressing for women, and not necessarily women dressing for men, in a sense. So I think that can come at any age that you want it to be. So we don't really have those conversations too much.
Yes. Well, speaking of dressing for men or women, another designer I spoke to this week showed me a sneak peek of spring 2025, and there were hot pants. Any sneak peeks of what you can tell me were in store for this season?
Well, we're actually, the concept is around this idea of life drawing. So it's sort of like this idea of celebrating the human figure, and particularly the woman figure, which I thought was so sort of parallel to get together with like what we do in fashion anyways, right? So whether you're doing bodycon or in our case, a lot of sheer elements that really you almost see, you allude to the woman figure through the clothes. And it feels really, really fun. So there's a definite sensuality to it. Never really sexy, but just definitely sensual and feminine in that sense.
I love that. Tell me about your team. You guys are production and the whole, everything's vertically integrated and in-house and very collaborative. But yes, you're heading up design. What does it take to really pull off even just the presentation collection? Like, you guys have been going at it for a good many months.
Yes, we've been working on this collection probably since March. So it's quite a labor intensive. And the main reason for that is we develop most of our fabrics on our own. Yes. So we work with Italy for all of our fabrics. I have an in-house textile designer who actually we manipulate and create, whether it's our prints, it's the jacquards we weave, to any kind of just beautiful nuances. So those things take a lot of time. And I think that's the luxury that's in it. A lot of our styling and shaping is quite simple or understated in that sense. But I think that's really important because we play up the luxuriousness of the fabrics. But I have an incredible team. I mean, that's really what keeps it going, anywhere from the design team themselves, which is a tight-knit group, to our visual team, to our marketing team. We all work hand in hand and really have this idea of not only building clothes, but building a collection, creating a story and really delivering that story. I think that storytelling part is so, so important to it, that we give that to our customer, because it wraps it up in a big bow that really feels really special.
Yes. Well, how many days before the show now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 days before your show. You're at your office. You guys have a great office. You're still in Brooklyn Navy Yard? We're in
the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Yes. So I'm literally looking at the whole skyline of Manhattan. It's gorgeous.
So fabulous. So at this point in time, like you're several years into doing this. Like, does this mean your late nights at the office? Does this mean while you're here, it's just a frenzy? What does it look like?
Yes, there's a lot of late nights. It was 2 a.m. the night before. It was 10 p.m. last night. So, wow. This is definitely the build up and the end. I can definitely tell you by Monday afternoon, a glass of champagne will be very much needed.
Well deserved. Tell me about your presentation. And I've always known you guys to do a presentation, but maybe I'm forgetting a period of runway shows. But presentation is where it's at, yeah?
Yes. I mean, as an understated brand, we keep it quite minimal. This is our second showing for the CFDA runway. So we're not doing an actual runway, we're doing a presentation, but we want it to be a bit of a submersive experience. So our collection is basically what I had said, a little bit about this idea of life drawing. Our brand was founded as manufacturers. So we're always looking to things that are really related to our DNA. So manufacturing is synonymous with craftsmanship, in relation to that, I'm trying to look towards other art mediums that also we can celebrate their process and their craftsmanship. So looking to life drawing, to sketching, it's spring. Spring is the beginning of all newness. So the collection is, life drawing is also the beginning of any kind of art form. So we use that as our starting point. And we wanted the presentation to be a little bit of this sort of almost art biennale immersive experience that the viewers are coming in. It feels a bit like an art gallery, and they're sort of getting this moment with the process of the beauty of the craftsmanship, and then they see the product.
Fantastic.
So I hope it's quite interesting.
Yes. Where does the inspo come from? It clicks every season. this is what we're doing? Or like, does it take like a lot of studying, a lot of, where does it come from?
Finding inspiration used to be hard, but I found that it's become a little bit easier when you find a rhythm in it.
Yeah.
The best thing for me is the fact that we really stay true to like authentic choices that feel right for us as a brand. So anything that's related to New York, anything that's related to art and architecture, anything that's related to women, celebrating them in some sort of way, that always is a natural theme that shows up. And I usually like to take an entire year, which is 4 seasons, and each do sort of an umbrella theme for that year. And then each season kind of has a chapter in it. It just definitely kind of lets our customer know what's coming and sort of brings her along the journey a little bit too. And also seasonal things can mix and match too.
Are you a brand in the fashion or luxury industry? The Glossy Fashion and Luxury Awards provide the opportunity to recognize your company's work with categories including Sustainable Brand of the Year, Best Collaboration, Best Experiential Marketing Activation, and more. Don't miss the chance to be recognized alongside past winners from Good American, Skims, and Gucci. Learn more and start your entry at glossy.co/awards/fashion. Tell me about the evolution of the brand in terms of, I don't know, category expansion, all of that. I recently was telling, I think, a member of your team that I carried one of your, like, you had this amazing beaded handbag with like a circle handle. And I took it to a wedding and they're like, oh, that's so vintage. Like it was like classic, like that's, I kept it I love it. Anyway, are you doing handbags? Are you doing shoes? Like, is that a head to toe look really the name of the game?
We definitely, we like to say we want to dress our customers 7 days a week. So it started with business and it finishes with the weekend to occasion, you name it. And any way that we can fill her closet with Lafayette is really what we want to do. We are a ready-to-wear brand, so that is really our main focus. That's our DNA. We are a completely vertical company, so we make all of that in-house. But we have expanded out into handbags out of Italy, and that takes time to learn. And with trueness, it's something we're still diving into and learning, and we're hoping to build upon that as well as accessories and an occasional shoe here and there. So
fun. We're designing for spring. Have you dabbled in that see now, buy now idea for Fashion Week?
Not really.
Yeah.
It's not really. We're planning ahead. We know our customers. She knows her schedule. She knows what's coming, and she has a real sense of what's going to be in her calendar coming up. So she likes to buy in advance.
Yeah, that makes good sense. How else do you tap into like the moment you're capturing? I'm sure you are inviting influential folks. Who comes to the show? How do you make more of like a marketing moment of the show?
We definitely, listen, it's a lot of press. It's a lot of our customers. We organize to have our top stylists come with their key customers in, because really that's so important to us. They're the ones who are the heartbeat of what we do. Of course, we are inviting influencers and some celebrities that you'll see next week, which is very exciting. Specifically, Rachel Brosnahan from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I love that show. We've got fittings all this week to kind of get everybody dressed and prepped and ready.
So fabulous. So what makes for a successful presentation? It's all said and done. You can pat yourself on the back. We did good. What does that look like?
That I don't trip and fall somewhere? No, I'm just kidding. A successful collection is, I think that people just walk away with a clear vision of what we're trying to accomplish. I think it's really when people feel like we have, we're staying true to who we are as a brand. I think, sometimes everybody gets the feeling that they need to compete. And, I think that's important when people walk away and say, I understand who this brand is and what they're talking to, and that we're doing a great job with that.
Yes. Considering you are a luxury brand, we've been hearing about this kind of up, down, all around market. Like, how have you guys been in terms of your stability and consumer behavior? And has it been stable?
It's no joke. It's scary out there, and it's a little inconsistent, we've seen women and people in general just shifting their sort of buying habits, and the fact that, summers are slow now because everybody's traveling, and But then you pick up for fall and it feels like back to school and suddenly where have all these people been? So it's definitely an up and down kind of like, hold on to your, strap yourself in and see what's going on. I mean, that's the reality of, I think, our industry now. So it has its pluses and minuses for sure.
When everyone's traveling over the summer, does that like inform maybe where you'll open stores and maybe you'll go to resort towns? Like, does that have an impact on future plans?
Well, of course. I mean, that's definitely what we're realizing is being a customer focused brand. It's really, you want to meet her where she is. So it's just getting ahead of it. This is fashion. You have to sort of be ahead of the trend.
Yes. Do your retail plans really like tie into your plans for your collection? You have a beautiful store on Madison Avenue, and I'm sure, and more. I just know of that one. But tell me about your stores. And what we see on the runway is the same, or on the presentation floor. Same thing we'll see in store and more, or how do they kind of play off each other? We definitely opened up a lot of stores. How many
throughout.
are we up to?
Oh God, I'm so bad with numbers, but I want to say 12. We just opened up our new store in Madison. So we've moved down the street. We also have a store in Soho and then several stores throughout the country, really focusing on key places where our customers are. So, and we have a couple more up our sleeve for the coming years. So we're really excited about that. But, we don't do a huge runway presentation in the sense that all of our clothes need to be wearable. There needs to be fantasy. I'm pushing the envelope a little bit, but it's also, for me, I try to design with my team with something hot, like up here in mind, and then really trickle that down to the most basic thing too. So everything kind of works together in a sensibility, because I think when you have one extreme and then another extreme, it doesn't necessarily always work so well.
Yes, I get that.
So you'll see both in the stores completely.
Yes. I'm in the mode of thinking about marketing with your presentation, but you used to do like a mailer, kind of like a style, like a catalog. Are you guys still doing that? Just wondering.
We are still doing that. Yeah. We used to do it 12 months out of the year. Every month we would drop a book.
Whoa.
And we had done that for a long time. But to be honest, with COVID and the internet and the web, that also has shifted a lot. And that works for some things, but now it's just really another way that we're sort of meeting our customer, reminding her that we're here. So it's more of a beautiful picture book at this point that she can kind of entice her to go on our website or come to one of our stores.
Yes, I think it's okay for me to call your customer older because I'm in the demo of 40 plus. Let's say that. But whenever we talk about marketing to an older consumer on the site, write a story about it, how brands are appealing to Gen X or whatever, it's a hot story. And I feel like brands don't know what to do to reach this customer because maybe they're not on TikTok, even though I'm on TikTok. And I think that's an old, I don't know, theory. But what else? What is working? Like the Instagram ads, a normal marketing play?
We've really created a force of stylists who are out there getting out there and speaking to our customers, anywhere from trunk shows to things that she can really be all hands on. I mean, the most important thing is our fabrics and our quality is so luxurious. It's almost like you want her touching and feeling.
Yeah.
So we really try to make sure that she is, we have people all over the country that can meet her there, as well as all of the usual suspects that you do.
Yes. Are trunk shows happening at like a department store? Has your footprint in terms of your retail partners changed at all? Selling just as many third-party retailers as you used to? Well,
we've made a very kind of distinctive, I guess is the word I'm looking for, shift to push to retail versus so much in wholesale. Going into COVID, we were very wholesale reliant, and we still absolutely love our wholesale partners, but we made a point to really represent ourselves in our own way through our stores and be able to have a bigger breadth of product. So that's kind of just been a really big mindset and shift for us to be able to have that bigger assortment in that sense.
Amazing. Tell me what else, any opportunities that you see moving forward?
Lots of really interesting partnerships. We had already created some great partnerships with other women collaborators like celebrity stylists like Petra Flannery. Last year, we did a project with Maggie Gyllenhaal. We look forward to doing other collaborations with women artists, sort of in that sort of range. We're also looking, obviously, to continue our commitment to sustainability. We're working on a program with Woolmark.
Yes.
That's always a very complicated mountain to climb, but we really are trying our best to kind of continue to stay at it and impact where we can.
How great. Was I correct that collaborations were a newer strategy for you, or I just was in the dark and hadn't been paying attention?
It's definitely new.
Okay.
I have an incredible marketing team who's been a fabulous support in helping connect the dots and sort of create these connections that we can, again, it's about building community, right? So it's about working with other people and starting to bring freshness to the brand, but also reach a different audience as well.
Yeah, I was just going to ask who makes a fitting collaborator. So they have their own audience, but maybe they also wear the brand.
Yes. Well, of course, that's ideal.
Yes, totally.
A similar sensibility, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Any fun rituals for the show day, presentation day?
No, I don't have as much experience with that yet. Ask me in like 5 shows up from now.
Yes. I'm so excited. Emerging brands, fashion, like you see it as this is an important marketing opportunity. I mean, it is a large investment for any brand, whether you're doing a presentation or a runway show. How do you think of like the investment versus the output, regardless of brand? Do you need to be established to be part of the hoopla and the conversation, or anybody should be there? Otherwise, like, do you exist?
I mean, I think it's also about celebrating New York as a fashion capital and making sure that still stays relevant. And, we want to be, in that community of other American designers. I think, we have an incredible product and we want to make sure that that's also out there in that same sort of circle, because we have so much respect for other, New York designers. And I think it's really important that we're supporting each other in that sense. So being able to contribute and be a part of this feels really great. To be a part of the CFDA is a great community of other, kind of like-minded creatives that we can sort of share the experience with. So yeah. I think it's definitely worth it for all those reasons.
I love that you went there in terms of New York being a fashion capital. And there was just this report, and I just talked to McKinsey, literally got off the phone before I hopped on this interview with one of their analysts. But they were talking about how like New York's reputation as a fashion capital is like being threatened with everything that's happening and the high cost of retail rent and basically these dominant players like owning it. And New York is known for like diversity and personality, and for it to be like this one note, I don't know, ultra high European brand. It's like, that's not what New York is. Anyway, it's very convoluted, but what I'm saying here, but it's very relevant. I think that's so smart.
It is relevant. I think there's a lot of creativity that comes out of New York too. I mean, I think a lot of people have, because of that diversity, there's a lot of different opinions to it. I mean, we do 52 different sizes. So we dress all shapes and sizes. And I think that's something you definitely don't see so much in European brands. So there is a voice here. And I understand what you mean, and the fact that it's kind of dipped a little bit, but I think there's opportunity, and New Yorkers are survivors, and we're,
Yes.
There's something really charming about this place.
Absolutely. Well, Emily, I'm so excited for your presentation.
Thank you. I can't wait to see you.
I can't wait to see you there. Oh, and there will be celebrities. So I might just like hover around for like way too long to just...
Well, yes, of course, you'll have to.
Oh my gosh. Well, best of luck this season. And yes, thank you for being my guest today. This was great.
Thank you so much, Jill. Have a great day.
That's all for this episode. Our theme music is by Otis McDonald. If you liked this episode, be sure to share it with someone else you think would. Thanks for listening to the Glossy Podcast.